Everyone's doing all right today. Thought I would do a little bit of a video on what I did to install the auxiliary power adapter on the Triumph bobber. Now, I believe this applies to previous year bobbers as well, but this is the model year 2021. It's actually purchased in the States as a 2022 motorcycle. So this is the adapter for the drawing there, and it is kit number. I can zoom in on that. And so this seems a little tricky because the instructions are a bit vague. They just say basically to undo the tank bolts here, tank attachments, and look for a taped up wire. Now, I'll go ahead and show you the adapter itself. It's right down there. Oops, get the light to work in my favor here, but there you go. So this is a bit odd to me, the location of it. I guess it makes sense because it's a slim down style bike. But, if you're going to have something powered and running on your bars, then it's going to be a little odd, running a wire up past the motor up to the bars. Maybe a heat resistant silicone wire or something like that would work out okay. But that's just USB if I were going to power that from there. And, it's a good spot if you were going to do heated gear, and maybe that's more what they were inclined to here. So this is the DIN style power adapter. I can zoom in on that. So it's not USB or anything directly. You would need an adapter for that. Now, my bobber already has a power adapter back here going right to the battery. And this would be like for your trickle charger or battery monitor or anything like that. But that's going directly to the battery, and this one's actually going to the factory connection under the tank. And when you remove the two tank bolts, which will be, showed you the one on the other side, and there's one here as well. Those, I can't remember the size of the screw on that, but it's in the kit number, and you can find the instructions with the kit actually come with where to go and look for the instructions. At least mine did. I think mine came from Adept Power Sports or something like that, but you can buy this kit at pretty much any authorized Triumph distributor, I think. So you can see this is what it looks like from the back side. And the wire is actually on this side of the tank, so this is the right side of the bike. And right about in this area, I'm not going to take it off now, but right about in this area, it's actually taped up and bundled up on the top here. At least that's where it was on mine. And there's just enough wire for when you take it out, you run it down in between the throttle bodies and the engine block here, and it comes out right here. And then you, as seen right here, this part on the back, number 5 there, is the rubber sleeve, and then that plugs right into the back of the power adapter there. Now, there is a clear plastic coating on mine sealing it, and they already had electronics grease on the plug. So all I had to do was cut that clear plastic coating off and plug it right into the back there. And then from there, you just take and 2 bolts on this side, or 2 screws on this side, go right into the ring here. There's 2 plastic plugs that are normally in these holes. You would just take those 2 plastic plugs out, and whenever you go to put the bracket on, it's probably a good idea to connect it before you try to screw these down, because it's a little fiddly if you try to do it the other way around. So for me, I wound up disconnecting it, reconnecting it there, getting everything nice and good on the plug, and then securing this down. Just make sure you don't have too much cable or too much tension on the cable in the back if you do that. So I haven't actually gotten to test mine yet. I did measure it with a meter and it checks out fine, but you be careful doing that because it'd be really easy to short that out. They do tell you to disconnect the battery if you're going to do this, and you can pretty easily disconnect it there, so that's not a huge deal. I've done that before when I installed my power regulator or my flashing rear light. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying that out. I haven't actually got to go on the road and test it out yet. I just installed this the other day. But thought that, I didn't see a lot of content on there about where that wire was on the bobber, and I forgot to really take any pictures. I may have actually. If I can find some pictures that I've done with this, I'll try to post those. but I don't think I have any direct ones. But anyway, the tank just lifts up. Once you've disconnected it, you just lift it forward. And I put a mesh cloth on here to keep from scratching anything, and then put a wood block underneath that just to keep the tank held up so that I could work with the wiring up here. And just have a piece of either red or blue tape. Take that off, then run the wire back down through between the throttle bodies and the block, and then it all connects up down here. And this took really, I mean, I was going super slow in the process of doing it, but at most 30 minutes. It was probably faster than that, honestly, for the install. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to someone. I was a little more worried it was going to be more involved than what it was when I did it. I wasn't too concerned about it because I've done more complex stuff before, but I just thought, hey, I really want a way to have some extra power on this thing just in case I need it at some point. So really happy with how it worked out. I still need to come up with a good solution for a temporary connection up to the bars if I ever decide to run some USB off of it for short term. I'll probably never have a permanent connection up here on the bars. I'm really not too interested in that. I suppose it'd be pretty easy to do if you wanted to. But for me, I don't usually go out on a lot of long rides. In fact, usually when I ride, I don't even have my phone on here. The only time I do that usually is GPS, or if I'm just wearing something where it doesn't fit in my pockets real well, then I'll clip it up here just to store it. I'm one of those people who just doesn't use my phone all that often. If I do sometimes listen to music in my helmet, but a lot of the time it's more like GPS, going in the audio in the helmet, or I'll have the GPS on the bars, and that's really one of the few times I have it up. And I know different people have different opinions on how they do that, but there is definitely good for me to have some GPS sometimes. I am directionally challenged, to say the least. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that out, and I hope that at least the basic overview of where to find the connector and all on the bobber is helpful. You absolutely, a lot of people ask when I've talked to them about it before, do you absolutely have to lift up the tank? Yes, you do. But when you lift up the tank, there's plenty of room, at least there was on mine, and it wasn't all that hard to find the cable. You did have to kind of feel around up in this area some. There was quite a lot of cabling there. But once you find the loose connector, then you can just run back and find the tape, and it's real easy to take off once you've done that. Once you found it all, it's not too bad. The trickiest bit of the whole thing was probably getting it was pushed so far forward that getting it to sit flush against the top of the engine, and then going back against between the throttle bodies. That was tricky, and I know somebody's going to say, well, you shouldn't have it with the heat right against the engine, but that's actually in the instructions. They actually tell you to run it exactly through the path of where I ran it through. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to someone. Y'all take care.